Devoted husband discovers his wife's secret life hosting shocking events with her soccer teammates, leading to betrayal and divorce. Guys, welcome back to Alpha Talk. So, for today, I'm going to be going over part 4 of the story that I started a few days ago. The first one was on Thursday, I believe, about this good guy who is married to this woman, and he discovers, one way or another, that she was, as I say, hosting special events with other guys, both in her house and outside her house, that he obviously was not aware of or taking part in. You guys obviously connect the dots what that meant, and the title of the stories was, My Wife in Nearly 3 Years Has Done Unthinkable Things. And as you guys know from the other parts, this is part 4. This is wrapping up his saga. And this guy, as you all know, went through very, very hard times, found out what was going on with the wife, confronted her, she had a meltdown, the whole 9 yards, went to couples therapy, but found out that she was doing more lying and doing things behind the scenes with other guys, even though she was trying to work in the relationship. The guy wanted to end it, and he played it cool through the divorce process, making her think that he wanted to get back together, but they had to split up first to make things easier in terms of the divorce. He found out in the last video that upon the divorce, he didn't have to pay her any alimony or anything major at all, so he walked away in a really good situation, given the fact that he got married in California, the no-fault state. So, this guy is now on the path of recovery, getting his life together, and this story, which I'm going to jump into, takes place almost 2 years after he found out what happened with her, and about 1.5 years after he finally sealed the deal on the divorce. And you're going to see here that he is moving along in his life and getting better. But this particularly goes into what's going on with the ex, this obviously horrible, horrible person that he was married to. You're going to see what's going on with her. And you're also going to see you're going to see in this story the expression, curiosity killed the cat, where this guy has the ability to hide the goings-on of his ex, because he's still getting over her, let's be honest here. But curiosity, he can't help himself. He starts digging and finding out what's going on with her, and it definitely causes him both frustration, shock, pain, just a whole whirlwind of emotions, So I'm going to go through this, guys. And a little lesson here is that when you are moving on from your ex, it's probably a good idea to disconnect yourself from social media and make it abundantly clear to your friends and family. Don't talk about the ex because they can see them on social media. I don't want to hear about it, because it's only going to stir up old feelings and issues. So, let me jump into the beginning of the update. He says, Hello again, everyone. In 17 days, it'll be the 2nd anniversary of my D-Day. Honestly, when I go back and read the previous post that I wrote, I can honestly say I never thought I'd make it this far. I knew he would. I knew he would get past this. In terms of the amount of time that has gone by and the healing of the pain, burden, hurt, and depression that I felt because of my ex-wife's horrific actions. I received messages from many of you caring folks asking for an update, and all I can say is be careful what you ask for. Hopefully, this will be my final update as to what has taken place since the divorce became official. In case you're joining the conversation at this point, here's a bit of light reading that will get you caught up in the situation. Says, Obviously, it's been quite a while since my last update, but there have been some important events that transpired that truly show how appalling a human being can be. And this woman, as you guys know that watch the other videos, she is one ugly, ugly human being. After the divorce was finalized in February 2019, I tried my best to go no contact, but that's easier said than done nowadays. I didn't speak to her or anything like that, but every now and then, I might see a post from a distant family member of hers that I hadn't yet blocked, or a friend would unintentionally mention something they saw on a mutual friend's Snapchat, things along those lines. All of my true friends tried their best to keep these type of updates to themselves, but some news was too big to hold back. I call that a bunch of crap. Okay, now, first of all, this guy, in my opinion, if this was me, I would have disconnected. I would deactivate all my social media for a while until I was truly healed, because there's no way you're going to miss these things. Okay, this guy, because he was obviously very hurt by this, which I totally understand, really should deactivate social media just so he wouldn't have to see this stuff. He can truly move on. And I would instructed my friends, I don't want to hear a peep about her, not a word about what she's doing. I don't care how crazy it is, I don't want to hear about it. But obviously, he didn't put his foot down with his friend, so he started getting trickles of information in which causes him to start thinking about things. And you're going to see the first blockbuster came May 2019, when one of my best friends called to tell me that my ex-wife was getting remarried to a guy from Tennessee. Shocker. Wait, what? Yeah, it was true. My friend's husband had yet to block my ex-wife on Facebook and was able to take screenshots of the events that transpired leading up to the big news. Mind you, this all took place between March of 2019 and July of 2019. So I think he said the divorce was finalized in February 2019. So all this happened just months later. How many times have I told you guys that a lot of women in this world cannot be alone? They got to have a guy there. They got to have a guy there supporting them financially with resources, or a guy there emotionally to have. Okay, even if they don't, they're not into the guy, and they obviously cheat. They still got to have at least one main guy to obviously milk. And she's one of these types. He says, apparently Buddy and her didn't last too long after the divorce was finalized. I don't know the specifics about how it ended. I kind of wish it did, but not surprising in the least.
Buddy is the main guy from the other videos she was having the affair with.
Okay, Buddy, and he's being sarcastic with that term, was one of his fellow soccer players in a soccer league they played with. Real nice, huh? Buddy was a classic chatter Tyrone. He's there to obviously hook up, nothing more. And I knew that the second this divorce was over, Buddy would be out of the picture like that. But as a young woman, this woman is probably 27 at the time of this story, maybe 26. She's not going to have a hard time finding a guy. Not all because there's never any supply guys out there that are clueless, that are going to be susceptible to women like this. But I do my best to teach guys about a female nature, how women work, good, bad, and unfortunately ugly, so that some guys won't fall into the traps like this. He says, starting in April, a string of status updates on Facebook alluded to everything happening for a reason and subversive hints that she was falling in love with someone. This woman cannot love. No, not at all. He says, poor soul, then seemingly, I nowhere in July, a simple picture and caption posted on her wall. The picture was of her and some random dude, none of it no one knew of her and knew or heard of. Standing in a courthouse, holding hands, ring on fingers, holding up what must have been a marriage certificate. Geo-tagged in California, proudly updated with their new last name with a caption saying something along the lines of, excited to start the rest of my life with such an amazing man, feeling so blessed. Look out, Tennessee, here we come. Good Lord. I know this entire story all the way back to my first post may seem unbelievable, but I can offer you no other proof than to say I'm writing down the God-honest truth. These next few lines may lose some of you, but I hope you read this long, that you have some trust in me. I felt I need to warn you before you go on. I simply could not stand the intense curiosity of the situation. I reached out to one of my ex-wife's cousin-in-laws who I got along with pretty well to get the rest of the story. Why? Why you haven't gotten over yet? This is only going to start more issues and more emotions. Curiosity killed the cat, dude. He says he obliged. Her new husband was someone she had met online and had been talking to you for a few months over the phone, text, etc. Apparently, they both fell hard and fast for one another, and he proposed to her on a phone call. She said yes, and they simply couldn't wait within a week of the proposal and a serious attempt by her to inform her family and invite them to the wedding. It took place in a very random town about 2 hours away from our hometown for some reason. I do not know. He flew out to California, and the marriage took place on a Saturday. That day also turned out to be the first time that they had met face to face, but now they're a man and wife. So they never met each other in person, they never kissed, never hooked up, none of that. It was all a phone relationship, texting relationship, and they're gonna get married. It's crazy, but this woman is crazy, so we're not surprised, and this poor sucker is in for, oh God. This guy's no idea what he's getting into. The kicker, according to the cousin, is that not one person from her family attended the courthouse wedding. Ha ha ha, then I'd tell you everything. Well, that was due to the lack of time to plan or lack of respect to attend. They were married unceremoniously, something that I know would have bothered the heck out of her. That Sunday, and he said that Sunday was spent packing a moving truck with all their belongings, and they say east for Tennessee on Monday. Well, I'd say good riddance. She's out of his state, he doesn't have to chance running into her again. Now he needs to get off the social media and stop checking out and seeing what she's doing because it's making him crazy, but unfortunately he continues on his stalking. I couldn't believe it. I've heard it from enough people by now to know that the story and timeline is true, but it was simply unbelievable at the time that poor man, if only he knew. I'm sure he did not know he would have had the presence of mind to not get married in California, a no-fault state, where he could fall into the same situation I was facing with her. But hopefully, he was simply not informed as opposed to being that stupid. For that time being, I did the best I could to shake the idea both of them from my mind, but I did find solace in knowing that they were moving far Far away where I know I wouldn't have a chance of randomly running into her ever again. Yeah, that's nice to know, but you're not going to get her out of your head if you keep checking her out on social media. Summer came and went in 2019, and right in the middle of the fall, another bombshell. He can't help himself. While thumbing through Instagram, a video crept up my screen of my ex-wife holding a plate in front of her father, him covering his eyes with his hands. Before I was able to realize what I was looking at, I saw on the plate sat a single cookie covered with blue frosting. My ex-wife's voice came through and was counting down. 3, 2, 1, it's a boy, as her father uncovered his eyes. It was a freaking gender reveal video. Why am I seeing this? Her mother just created an Instagram account completely public and posted this video of her husband's excitement. I think these parties that they throw to let the family know the big surprise, or whether it's a boy or a girl, ridiculous. To my knowledge, celebrities started doing this nonsense years ago, and of course because common people want to feel like they're like the status of celebrities, now they gotta do it. So now there's an industry that makes money off these stupid-ass parties. I had a personal training client that she did that, but she married into a very wealthy family, and on her husband's family yacht. They did this whole thing in Florida a couple of years ago, and she didn't want to do it, but she obviously was playing along because this is all over her wealthy mother-in-law who obviously wants to be like the celebrities. He says, I completely lost it. That was actually a really bad set of days and sleepless nights. The second feeling I had was a mix of disgust, pain, frustration, and even a bit of jealousy. It's one of my great aspirations in life to become a father, and had all this not happen on our previous timeline. What it could have been the time that we had a child together. It could have been my child. Stop. Okay, obviously he was on Instagram, he wasn't connected to the mom, and this was like a recommended thing, but still deactivate the social media until you can finally get over this stuff. But hey, you know what? Be happy. He's obviously feeling sick to his stomach because he knows in some timeline, maybe a parallel universe, it would have worked out with her and she would have been a cheater and awful. And he'd be a dad because he wants to be a dad and, fine. Be happy that you found out about her true nature early in life. This guy's got his whole life ahead of him, I would take all the horrible things he went through and use that to develop a very good defense shield, an ability to really screen any women that come into his life down the road when he heals. But if this is what he truly wants to be a father one day and all that, he can have that. But be extraordinarily careful with any woman he gets involved with going forward. He said it could have been me, blah, blah, blah. I'm 32 years old now. I thought I'd be one. I'd be one now, much less not even on the path towards having a relationship, let alone a child. I'm a mature man, and I realize I do have time ahead of me to achieve that dream with someone I love and I'm happy with. But I can't stop myself from comparing where I am in life, where I thought I'd be right now. All I can say for certain is that in this particular scenario, I'd very much rather be in my position than the soon-to-be fathers. Yeah, with her, dude, you're 32. 32. You got your whole life ahead of you. Okay, I'm 43, and in my mind, I feel like I'm 25. And any of you guys out there right now, they're in your 30s or 40s and you're in a situation you're unhappy with, bad marriage, bad situation, or you haven't done these things yet, whatever it happens to be, and you think, basically I'm too old, that's a bunch of crap. Okay, you can achieve so many things even though you're a little bit long in life. Okay, don't let a number get in your way, seriously. I imagine that by now the baby is probably born. I've had the good fortune and good company of those around me to not have heard either way. Well, it's about time. I know this is the probable situation to be in, not knowing then the alternative, but I can't help but wonder every now and then. The good news is that when I really think about it, there are more and more days now that she and her dumpster fire of a life do not cross my mind whatsoever, and I consider that progress. It is progress. That's great. And soon there'll be less and less you think about her to the point that you made it. You may think about it about once every 6 months to a year. You're making progress. That's what it's all about, guys. You go through hard times, it's going to seem impossible at the time, but eventually you will get through it and the pain will get less and less as time goes on. It says here, there are still bad days which are made exponentially worse because of the stay-at-home orders creating unbearably depressing days. He's obviously referring to the last year or so because of COVID and being at home and all that under the quarantine. I have the good fortune currently working as an independent contractor, able to work from home on my computer, but those are the very lonely days. I make a point to get out and walk, but I do miss the gym. I've gone home to visit my parents as much as I can just to have some company that isn't talking to someone on a webinar or over the phone. I know the situation. I know in this situation we all find ourselves as in the shared and its effects on all of us. It's not something I'm going through alone. When I get to feel hopeless, I think back to the early days following my D-Day, and I thought I'd never make it through it. Yeah, I have. And I'll make it through this difficult time as well. Of course you will. Of course all of us will. Everybody's handling the whole coveted time in different ways, and obviously it's different parts of the world, different states you're living in. There's a lot at the end of the tunnel, but a lot of people have gotten really excited about this whole thing and just got to take in a certain perspective. This too shall pass, one day at a time, one moment to the next if need be, but time moves forward no matter how slowly it seems to be moving. I thank you all for taking the time to read my update and catch up on what's transpired. I like to close my offering my sincerest gratitude to, for those of you who have commented, messaged me, and encouraged me through this entire life event. I can say without a shadow of a doubt that was my strength, the strength of this community that saved me, encouraged me, and gave me another shot at living a happy life after avoiding a dismal existence. Thank you, and thank you. Here's to another 2 years of surviving and thriving. Well, bro, that is quite a story. That's the longest saga I've done here on YouTube with multiple parts to it. But again, I say come back on the social media and ignore what she's doing in her past and all that, and tell your friends to shut up about her and what's going on with her life. The point is, clean slate. You got a new chance, okay? And take all this knowledge you've gained through this horrible experience and help make you stronger. That which does not kill you makes you stronger. And obviously, if one day that you do want to be a dad and all that because this guy's a good guy, okay, you'll get there. But take these hard lessons you've learned about women and female nature. The ugly, ugly side. Extreme worst-case scenario about female nature, what could happen and go wrong in relationships and marriages to give you that knowledge to obviously have a very good screening process when you eventually start getting dating and serious with another woman. Just be extremely careful. And if you're going to get married one day, even though I tell you don't do it, but if you're going to do it, prenup, brother. Prenup and find out everything you can about her, and take your long time of really taking a while to find out who she is. Don't go jumping into a marriage very quickly just because you want to be a father and all that. Okay, take your time, where you simply can meet a great girl that maybe has an attitude towards marriage that, hey, it's not what all is cracked up to be, but I still want to be with you and have a kid with you. Maybe you can do that, okay? But it's your life. So, alright guys, that's it for today that has ended the saga. Be sure to comment down below, think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.